Welcome to week 6 of Marketing 2700, Design and Product Development. I'm Brad Scheller, and this week is where everything shifts. Up until now, we've been pretty much building your foundation, understanding the history of new product development, understanding customer needs, learning about disruption theory, working through the stage gate process and its iterations. And this week, we're adding rocket fuel. The theme this week is AI-Augmented design tools. And we're going to explore the landscape of AI tools that are transforming how products are researched, visualized, prototyped, and eventually brought to market. And you're going to get your hands on them. So by the end of this week, you're going to have generated your first AI concept images, and you're going to create a product requirements document, as well as a presentation explaining the process you went through and what your concept's about. So this is going to be a busy week, but I have some tools to surprise you and make it much easier. So let's get into it. So let's walk through everything on your plate this week. There's a lot here, but there's no discussion post, so that's time saved. Now, first, you're watching this kickoff video. Check. Next, read Chapter 9 on concept testing. This is the foundation for how you're going to validate your group's product concept, so don't skip the reading. After the reading, take the week 6 quiz. It's worth 0.8 points towards your final grade. It covers Chapter 9 in Cooper's AI and New Product Development paper. Speaking of which, Cooper's 2023 paper is your second reading, and this is the guy who invented Stage Gate. Now he's rewriting the book for AI. It's essential reading. On the video side, I loaded up this week to give you 6 videos on the tools that you're going to be using. Don't be afraid of the tools. Watch the videos at 1.5 speed. These are the tools you're going to need and the skills you're going to need for this team project. Next is the big one. It's the group assignment. It's worth 5 points towards your final grade. And in it, you're going to walk through the application again, going through the various phases of how new products are brought to market, utilizing AI-generated tools. And you're going to gather all that information, review it, sign off or make changes, and then you're going to create a product requirements document, which I am giving you also another skill automates the generation of that. And the final deliverable, aside from that, is a video that you post to the discussion forum, which basically lays out what you learned along the way, this path, what the concept is, and how you might be able to use it in your career. So those are all the main elements. And of course, every Thursday we have the optional Zoom meeting. And this week, I'm going to be able to, if you wish, go through a typical user using my laptop and my keyboard to show you how this product development application is viable and easy to use. So let's continue along our path here. So as I mentioned, Chapter 9 is your reading this week, and it's concept testing. And this is where you learn to validate your ideas before you invest serious time and money. The chapter covers how to design a concept test, how to write concept statements, measure purchase intent, and then interpret the data that you collected. Now, here's why this matters right now, more than ever, I think. Your group project is reaching the point where you need to select which concept to move forward with. Concept testing gives you the framework to make that decision with evidence, not just opinion. And here's where it gets interesting. We're going to layer AI on top of traditional methods. So you'll see that you can use AI to simulate user feedback, generate concept variations, and even pre-test messaging before you go out to real customers. Pro tip here. Load this chapter into Notebook LM alongside the AI pipeline materials from last week. These connections will be very, very helpful for you to be able to pull it up in a flash. So this week's quiz covers Chapter 9 on concept testing, and as well Cooper's AI and New Product Development paper, and the AI tool landscape from this lecture and the videos. It's worth 0.8 points. It's about 20 questions, and you'll have 30 minutes. And that's plenty of time if you've done the reading. Now, here's my study strategy. Use Notebook LM. seriously, load chapter 9 and Cooper's paper into a notebook. Ask it to quiz you. It's the best study partner you'll ever have, and it's free. So key topics to focus on in preparation for this major event is concept testing methodologies, the difference between AI gate, and traditional stage gate, the major image generation tools and their strengths, the concept of prototype first thinking, and Cooper's overall framework for AI and new product development. The quiz opens after you've completed the Chapter 9 reading, and it's due Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So the second reading this week is Robert Cooper's 2023 paper on AI in new product development. Now, that name should sound familiar. It's about Robert Cooper, who, is the creator of the stage gate process that we studied in weeks prior. He's also the godfather of structured product development. And in this paper, he's essentially rewriting his own playbook for the AI age. Three key concepts that you're going to encounter this week. First, the AI gate process. It's obviously an evolution of stage gate where AI tools are embedded at every decision point. Second, automated ideation, and that's using AI to generate and screen hundreds of concepts, much like our 7-phase pipeline from last week. And third, predictive analytics, and that's using data-driven models to make go or kill decisions instead of relying on committee judgment. So here's what I want you to do. As you read the paper, compare Cooper's vision with the AI pipeline we walked through in week 5. You'll see remarkable alignment. That's not an accident. The pipeline we built is directly informed by this research. Now, the paper is also on the quiz, so read it carefully, and we'll move on to the next topic. Take a close look at this diagram from Cooper's paper. This is one of the more important visuals you'll see in this course. The horizontal axis shows timing across the entire product development process, from the fuzzy front end on the left through ideas, concept, business case, development, validation, all the way to the launch on the right. The vertical axis shows the role AI plays, ranging from facilitator at the bottom, where it assists humans, all the way up to originator at the top, where AI is actually generating new ideas and making decisions independently. Now, what I want you to notice is the scattered pattern. In the early stages, idea generation, concept development, AI can operate at a very high level, even as an originator. Think about how our pipeline used Claude and Gemini to discover and evaluate 40 plus concepts. That's the upper left quadrant. But as you move to the right into development, validation, and launch, AI's role shifts more towards facilitation. Things like risk management, competitive intelligence, workflow automation. The human judgment becomes more critical, not less. This is exactly the pattern we're building towards. AI does the heavy lifting on research and ideation, but you make the strategic decisions. Keep this mental model with you as you work through your group project. Your next assignment this week is the IDE setup guide, or Integrated Development Environment Setup Guide. Now, it doesn't sound exciting, but listen, this is one of the more important things you're going to do in this semester. You're going to learn how to set up an environment as your workshop. If it's not right, everything downstream gets harder. So here's what you're going to configure. You're going to have Claude projects for organization of your knowledge you pick up, Notebook LM with MCP server integration, Perplexity Pro for research, and Claude Code as your user interface. You're going to also install 2 applications, Node.js and Python, which are just basically coding tools. Don't skip this. Get it done early. I've seen teams in the past who wait till last minute and then basically fall behind. It's going to take you a day or 2 to get used to it, and you want to hit the ground running when you get to the heart of the project. Let's see. So The guide that I'm providing is going to walk you through everything step by step. Just follow it exactly. Next up, I packaged a set of 6 videos that I think would be very helpful for you to watch. These are always optional, but if you want to become very knowledgeable about this topic, you're going to need to get some training from some of the people who are the best. And these people really explain some of the concepts about these tools very well. So you don't have to watch them all at once. And when you do, turn it up to 1.5 times the speed. You'll get the big picture. Then you can go back and rewatch the key sections where you're really trying to improve yourself. Now, also, there's a image generation tutorial down on the bottom where it compares Midjourney, ChatGPT Image 1.5, and Google's Nano Banana Pro. And each of those are very powerful tools that artists use. Does a lot of good stuff, and you should be able to understand how to use them, what's the difference, and when to use it. So watch these tutorials with the tools open in front of you. Follow along. The best way to learn is by doing it. You're going to need these skills for your assignment. They're going to help you understand how to define things better. And of course, any information, any experience is always good in your life. So we got all that reading done. We've got the software set up for your workstation. What are we going to do with it? So here's the big picture of what your team is going to produce this week. By February 10th, we'll need to deliver 3 things. Actually, I think it's the 15th. I'm sorry. First, you'll have evaluated at least 20 product concepts. These are not random ideas coming from a brainstorming session. They're systematically been discovered through AI-powered research across YouTube, Reddit, X, school communities, and industry sources. Each one scored very well, and this was based on a rubric geared towards your particular company and its place in the industry. Second, you're going to take one winning concept that you have, and you're going to run it through Scamper and morphological analysis and Kano modeling to try to basically be prepared with valid information for why you made the choices you did in terms of the concept you picked. And finally, you're going to put all the information you gathered during this 7-stage process, and you're going to have the system generate a product performance document as well as a presentation as to what your group is doing, what it did, how it got to where you are, etc. So that's what is on your plate. Okay, so let's go over the roadmap your team's going to follow. There's going to be 7 phases. Each one feeds into the next phase, much like StageGate. In phase 1, a little different than StageGate and these other processes, you're going to start with a strategic analysis at the top. You're going to define your company, assess its capabilities, its ability to change, and culture for supporting that. This is where you figure out who you are and where you're playing. That drives everything else. In phase 2, you're going to create a rubric. This is going to be based on your strategy. You're going to build a custom scoring rubric. And the key thing here is that your stage 1 identified whether you need to be a disruptor in the industry or just, continue along protecting the platform, etc. That impacts what your rubric is set up as. The next phase is concept discovery. Here we're using things like Perplexity Pro and Gemini's deep research to gather up information on what people's pain points are and find out how we can relate to them for our desired concept. Next, after that is phase 5, where we do a concept evaluation. This is where we're going to use Claude and Gemini to score each concept against your rubric. Then we're going to have this council of judges sit and talk and argue about it and come up with final scores. If the concept gets below 90%, you scrap it. If it's below If it's between 90 and 95%, you tweak it based on the suggested feedback that you get. And if it's above, well, you keep going with it till launch. Now, let me walk you through exactly what your team is going to be submitting this week. And you're going to see some similarities to the phase gate, stage gate, that is. This is the big deliverable. It's worth 5 points out of your grade, so pay attention. You use the application I provided to work through these steps, specific steps. First, you're going to select an industry and create a fictitious company for your team. Next, in your little company, you're going to analyze the willingness of top management for change and the ability of the company to support change efforts. You're going to identify any potential roadblocks. Next, we're going to use the tool to research market opportunities via the case analysis framework used in the Kodak case, pestle analysis, SWOT, BRIO, Porter's 5 forces, etc. And you're going to pull in concepts that can be graded against your rubric to see if they've passed or failed. Then at the end of that, once again, the panel of judges is going to review and critique your work and grade you. And if you are below a certain number, you're going to go back for another year of school. And finally, you're going to develop the PRD as well as the presentation. So that brings us to the next to last page, keeping the best for last, which is your project, which is concept selection, product requirements document, and a video presentation. So those are your 3 deliverables, and I will post a rubric for grading tomorrow, which will be Tuesday. So that's everything for week 6. It's a pivotal week in the course, and you're moving from understanding how product design works to actually doing it with AI tools. So start with the readings and the videos early in the week, get your integrated development environment set up, and spend time playing with image generation tools before you have to submit anything. And also, of course, get on schedule with your team. Start meeting with them, brainstorming, whatever you have to do. Remember these words. It's by a fellow named Alan Kay. He says, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And that is what we are trying to do here. Hope you all have a great evening. Take care.